Good morning or afternoon everyone. My name is Margot Nataf and I am going to present a work done with Arnaud Malapert. This work is about filtering rules for flow time minimization in a parallel machine scheduling problem. Let's start with some context. The problem we are dealing with comes from the semiconductor industry. In this kind of industries, operations require a very high level of accuracy and need to be very precise. Therefore, machines have to be reliable and parameters have to be properly adjusted. The field dealing with the control of processes and equipment is called Advanced Process Control, or APC. In the literature, APC and scheduling are treated separately. However, they are interdependent. Indeed, to control, we need to know what is going to happen on the machine. And to schedule, we need to have information on the machine. Thus, the objective of the problem is to integrate APC, and more precisely APC constraints, into a scheduling problem. The problem we have considered can be divided into two parts, the scheduling part and the APC part. For the scheduling part, we consider a parallel machine scheduling problem with family setup time and machine qualification. And the objective is to minimize the flow time. For the APC part, we introduce a constraint called time constraint. This constraint limits the time between the execution of two jobs of the same family on the same machine. This is because each time a job of a family is scheduled on the machine, a measure is made. This measure allows to adjust the parameter of the machine if needed. Thus, if no job of the family is scheduled for a long amount of time, the parameter of the machine may not be properly adjusted anymore. So it is not possible to schedule jobs of this family on this machine anymore. The machine becomes disqualified for the family. The objective is to minimize the number of disqualifications. For this problem, several solving methods exist. 3 integer linear programs, 2 CP models, and 5 heuristics. We focus on exact methods because they outperform the heuristic. Among the exact methods, the performance are not equivalent. In a previous work, we showed that when the priority is given to minimizing the number of disqualification, then CP performs best. But when the priority is given to the flow time, ILP and CP have complementary behavior. Indeed, CP is able to find more feasible solutions, but ILP is able to prove more optima. Thus, the goal of this work is to improve the performance of the CP model for the flow time objective. And this will be done by propagating partial assignment to flow time. To briefly summarize our work, we study a relaxed version of the problem in which we do not consider time constraints anymore. For this problem, we define a polynomial time algorithm to optimally sequence jobs on one machine. Thus, if jobs are assigned to machine, the optimal flow time can be computed in polynomial time. Then, we use this algorithm to define 3 filtering rules. To define those rules, the idea is to consider partial assignment of job to machine, and then we try to extend this assignment by adding jobs to machine. The optimal flow time of this assignment is then computed, and the resulting lower bound is used to make decisions. In terms of performance, the filtering rules improve the performance of the CP model. Indeed, adding those rules allows us to prove more optima, around 80, and speed up the solving of the problem. In the comparison of the CP and the ILP models show that CP is able to find more feasible solutions and better upper bounds, but ILP proves more optima than CP. The outline of the presentation is as follows. First, I will formally describe the problem and give the associated CP model. Then, I am going to present the polynomial time algorithm used to optimally sequence jobs on one machine. The filtering rules are then described, and finally, the results of the experiments are detailed. Thus, we begin by the problem description. As I said before, the problem can be divided into 2 parts. The scheduling problem and the APC constraints and objective. I am not going into the detail of the APC part as our work concerns the scheduling part of the problem. Thus, the scheduling problem considered is a parallel machine scheduling problem. So we have a set of jobs and a set of machines. Each job belongs to a family and all jobs in a family have the same characteristics, same processing time and same setup times. The setup times are sequence independent since they do not depend on the job previously scheduled, but only on the job scheduled next. Also note that no setup time is required at time 0. Now I am going to present you the CP model defined for the problem. As before, I only show the scheduling part of the model. We define two sets of interval variables to model the execution of jobs and the assignment of jobs to machine. This type of variables are classical in parallel machine scheduling. We also define 4 integer variables. Those variables are not mandatory to model the problem, but we use them in our filtering algorithm. Those variables are the global flow time, the machine flow time, the number of jobs of family F scheduled on machine M, and the number of jobs scheduled on machine M. In terms of constraints, we use the no overlap constraint to model the sequencing of jobs and the setup time. An alternative constraint is used to model the assignment of jobs to machine. Another constraint is added to answer flow time computation. Finally, 6 set of constraints is used to link the new integer variables to the other variable of the model. 2 for the machine flow time, 2 for the number of jobs of a family F on a machine M, and 2 for the number of jobs on a machine. I am now going to present the polynomial time algorithm used to optimally sequence jobs on one machine. So, as we want to sequence jobs on one machine, it is equivalent to consider a one-machine scheduling problem with family setup time, in which we want to minimize the flow time. To define our algorithm, we use 2 theorems. The first one says that there always exists an optimal solution in which all jobs of the same family are scheduled consecutively. A sequence of consecutive jobs of the same family is called a block. Here we have a solution in which we start by scheduling all jobs of family 1, then all jobs of family 3, and finally all jobs of family 2. Thus, we have 3 blocks corresponding to the 3 sequences of jobs of the same family. One consequence of the theorem is that there is exactly 1 block per family. The idea of our algorithm is to adapt the weighted shortest processing time rules for blocks instead of individual jobs. To do so, we need to define the processing time and the weight of a block. The processing time is defined as the sum of the setup time and the processing time of all jobs of the family. The weight of the block is the number of jobs in it, which is the number of jobs of the family. We can now define the mean processing time of a block as the ratio of the processing time of the block to the weight of the block. Then we can show that in an optimal solution, all blocks except the first one are scheduled in shortest mean processing time order. So we can now use this theorem to define our algorithm. Indeed, the sequencing algorithm takes as input a set of jobs grouped into blocks. Then blocks are sorted in SMPT order. The second step consists in successively moving each block to the first position and then computing the new flow time. Indeed, in an optimal solution, all blocks are scheduled in SMPT order except the first one. Thus, we need to search for the blocks in the first positions by simply training all possible blocks and choosing the one achieving the smaller flow time. The complexity of the algorithm is big O of f log f, with f the total number of families. Indeed, we need big O of f log f for sorting the block in SMPT order and a linear time for finding the first block in the solution. Thus, we have a polynomial time algorithm to optimally sequence jobs on one machine. Now we will see how this algorithm can be used to define 3 filtering rules. The first rules aim at increasing the lower bound on the machine flow time. First, Note that the algorithm sequencing can be directly applied for having a lower bound on the flow time. But we can find a better bound. Indeed, at a node of the branching tree, some decisions have already been made and some information is available. Indeed, we have jobs already assigned to machines and we know the minimum number of jobs on a machine. Thus, for a machine M, we have the set of jobs already assigned to it, n upper A lower m, and the minimum number of jobs on M given by the lower bound on Nm. The idea is to complete the set n upper A lower m with a certain number of jobs to obtain a set with the minimum number of jobs on M inside. As the goal is to obtain a lower bound on the flow time of M, we want to add the jobs which contribute the less to the flow time. If we do not consider the setup time, then adding the jobs with the shortest processing time will give us a valid lower bound on the flow time. Once the set is constructed, we just apply the sequencing algorithm on it to obtain the lower bound. The figure describes an example with 3 jobs already assigned to M and a minimum number of jobs on M of 6. Here we have added first as many as possible jobs of family 1 because it has the shortest processing time, and then a job of family 2 because family 1 only has 3 jobs in it. And we have considered them with 0 setup time to obtain a valid lower bound on the flow time. The same idea can be used to reduce the number of jobs on a machine. As before, at each node of the branching tree, we have a set of jobs already assigned to a machine, and this time the maximum number of jobs on the machine. Here, the idea is to try to schedule this maximum number of jobs on the machine with the minimum flow time. If this flow time is too high comparing to the current upper bound on the flow time, then we know that the maximum number of jobs on M can be reduced. To obtain the set with the maximum number of jobs on M and with the smallest flow time, we complete the set n upper A lower m with the first jobs in SPT order without considering the setup time for those jobs. Finally, the last rule defined is filtering the maximum number of jobs of a certain family on a machine. The main idea is similar to the previous one, as we create a set with the maximum number of jobs of the family in it by completing the set n upper A lower m. Then we apply the sequencing algorithm on this set, and if the lower bound on the flow time obtained is greater than the current upper bound, then we can reduce the maximum number of jobs of the family on the machine. We have now defined the 3 filtering rules of the paper, and we now discuss the experiment. First, remember that the problem has 2 objectives, one for the IPC part and one for the scheduling part. To model this objective, we use either a lexicographical order or a weighted sum. For CP, either lexicographical order or weighted sum can be used. We use lexicographical order because it is more efficient than the weighted sum. For ILP, only weighted sum is possible. Thus, the lexicographical order is used for CP, while the weighted sum is used for ILP. In our experiment, we give priority to the flow time, as our filtering rules concern the flow time objectives. For the instance, we use the one of our previous paper. The set is composed of 570 instances with different number of jobs, machines, and families. In this slide, you can also see the configuration of the machine on which the experiment has been done. The solver used is CPLEX for the ILP and CP-Optimizer for the CP model. The first experiment studies the impact of the filtering rules. First, it is important to know that all models are able to find feasible solutions for almost all instances. Second, the graphic shows the number of instances solved optimally with respect to the solving time. The lower line corresponds to the CP model without our filtering rule, while the upper lines correspond to the model with the filtering rules. We perform the experiment either with only one filtering rule or with all the filtering rules. Here, we can see that the use of the rules allows to find a more optimal solution faster. Another thing to notice is that none of the rules dominates all the other ones. The only rule with lower performance is the one increasing only the lower bound on the flow time, which is depicted in blue in the graphic. The second experiment compares the performance of the CP model and the ILP. In the graphic, the blue line corresponds to the CP model and the other one to the ILP. We can see that the ILP still proves more optima than the CP model. Indeed, the CP model is able to quickly find good solutions, but cannot prove the optimality of these solutions. We can also see that the CP model is faster than the ILP. Indeed, it finds all its solutions in the 51st second of the solving. To complete the comparison, CP is able to find more feasible solutions and find better upper bound than the ILP. Thus, the performance of the models are complementary. To conclude this talk, we have defined 3 cost-based filtering rules and applied them to an efficient CP model for a parallel machine scheduling problem with setup time. The experiment shows the impact and the effectiveness of these rules and of the overall algorithm. The perspective of this work is to tackle larger industrial instances since CP relies on its ability at finding feasible solutions. The second perspective is to define new filtering rules, taking the APC part of the problem in consideration. Finally, designing similar relaxation for flow time propagation for single machine with time window is also a perspective of this work.